Canine unit 12 years ago. Our Sheriff Frank Provenzano brought the canine unit back to Somerset County with 3 specialized dogs. We have a narcotic canine dog, a bomb sniffing dog, and a tracking dog. Obviously that was 12 years ago. Just last year, 2 of our original dogs passed away. Those pictures are up here. We always keep them in our mind. They visited this 4-H fair about 10 times, so they're always here. What we're going to do today, though, we're going to give you a chance to meet all of our 3 new dogs that are in service in Somerset County. So the first one, the main thing to keep in mind, even before we get into the actual presentation, is none of this stuff is possible without the support that we get from our bosses, and the county actually has freeholders as well. I don't know if they're here today. Over here we have Under Sheriff Rich Borden. He oversees the canine unit. He helps us with a lot of the day-to-day operations with canine. We got Under Sheriff Roy Gandalf, who does a lot of our budgeting and helps us purchase stuff. Lieutenant Steve San Antonio's back there, helps us with a lot of the scheduling. A lot goes in to bring a 24/7, 365 canine unit to Somerset County. So over the next half hour or so, you're going to learn a little bit about each dog, and then we'll come back at the end and we're going to see who's paying attention, and we're going to actually ask some questions. We have some handouts for the kids if you get the questions right, so you want to pay attention. So our first guy up is Officer Tom Wallace, and he'll tell you a little bit about his Bloodhound Wildman and how that came about.
Hello everybody.
Hi.
Thank you all for coming here today to partake in our demonstration of the 3 dogs that we have in our canine unit currently. As Captain Pino said, my name is Tom Wallace. I'm an officer with the Somerset County Sheriff's Office assigned to the canine unit. This is my canine partner, Wildman. He is a bloodhound. Bloodhounds are particularly bred for originally tracking animals in the 1300s in Europe. They were able to realize that they could use these animals to also track humans. So Wildman was trained this past year. We started in about July and ended in towards the end of November up in Morris County with the Morris County Sheriff's Office Canine Unit. And I just want to point someone out who's in the crowd here. Someone who helped train Wildman's right here in the second row. Officer Doug Meyer with the Morris County Sheriff's Canine Unit. He trained Wildman, and he was also instrumental in training my old partner Boone, whose photo is up in the front here. So all this obedience we got going on with Wildman right now is directly associated with Officer Meyer over there, teaching me how to do some obedience in bloodhounds, which really is a good, easy thing to do. Now, bloodhounds, this particular bloodhound is a tracking dog. Means he looks for humans. That's all he does. He's a single-purpose dog. He does not do apprehension work. None of our dogs do bite work, which you might see on TV.
You need to come back.
None of our dogs do any bite work, which you might see on TV. I go out on a call looking for either missing persons, adults, kids, or criminals who run from the police. And I'll have support officers with me, officers that will watch my back while I'm watching the dog do what he's doing, because I need to focus on his job, and I can't be focusing on what might be hiding behind a tree. So officers are with me to protect me and my partner while we're looking for criminals. Now, I said he's a human scent tracking dog. What that means is he's following odor that's on the ground. As we're all sitting here, we're dropping skin cells on the ground. You may not know it, but microscopic skin cells fall off of our body, and there's bacteria on that skin cell that eats the skin cell and gives off an odor. That's what he's trained to do. Like I said, we started training in July and finished towards the end of November of last year. And in that training, you start out with very small tracks where someone will lay a track in the grass. And he's a food reward dog. As you see, I'm giving him treats. He loves working for these little kibble bits that I got here. You put that food down to keep the dog's nose in the ground. He's taking in all the odor of the human scent that's left on the ground. Now, as you sit here, it falls out of the sleeves of your shirt, your pant legs. It's been scientifically proven that after 8 minutes of a new pair of shoes being worn, you're leaving human scent on the ground through those new shoes. Now, bloodhounds are bred specifically for tracking, and they've got some specific features about it, like these big long ears. Okay? Now, as his nose is to the ground and he's tracking, his ears swing like a pendulum, and it pushes odor towards his nose. Now, another thing, I'm going to try and do this a little different here. When his head falls forward, you get that face. See that? You get that face when his head falls forward. Human odor and scent gets trapped in those wrinkles on his face, and it helps him to continue following the odor that we're looking for. Another thing they do is drool. Bacteria that's on your human scent needs moisture to work. If there's no moisture, the bacteria can't eat the skin cell and give off the odor that he's looking for. So the drool helps keep the skin cells hydrated that he's following and helps him follow the odor. Now our canine partners, there's 3 of us in our canine unit right now. Myself with Wildman, who's a bloodhound. You'll see the other 2 dogs. Officer Bauer has Diesel, a German Shepherd. And Officer Daniker has Apex, a narcotics dog. They all live with us. They're not pets. They come home with us, but we don't treat them like pets. They primarily stay outside in a kennel that's housed with a dog house and cover on it and stuff to keep them comfortable. But they live outside because we can't have dogs that become house pets. Because how many people have a house pet at home, a dog? Show your hands. All right, how many of those people have the dog that won't go outside to go to the bathroom in the rain or the snow or thunderstorms? You see, we need dogs that work in all weather environments. So they have to be able to be out in hot weather. They have to be able to be out in rain and in snow and cold. Because I never know when someone's going to run from the police or when someone's going to go missing. And when that happens, I need my partner who doesn't want to not leave the couch at home to go on the dog call to be able to go right away. So they live at home with us. Our agency gives us a vehicle to travel to and from work every day because we're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We can get called in the middle of the night just after we get home from work. We have to be able to respond quickly from our homes to answer and respond to our calls. That's why they give us these vehicles. Now back to bloodhounds and some of the stuff that they can do. They do something that's called scent discrimination, where he's able to discriminate between different odors. So if someone goes missing or I have a criminal that ran to the police, if I have an article of clothing, an object that I can use to tell him to follow, it makes our job a lot easier because he's not going through a dozen different odors to try and find the one specific odor that we're looking for. So we're still in training with that. My old partner Boone did really good with scent article training. Wildman, we're still learning it. What I will do is if I have an article of clothing, I'll take and put it in a Ziploc bag, let it build up the odor inside it, and I'll stick it on his nose. Give him a starting command, the bag comes off his nose, and he knows through repetition and training that the odor that's in the bag is the odor that I want him to follow. So he can disregard all the other odors that may be on the ground. You imagine a crime scene or a missing person, the amount of other people that are there helping out, there's dozens of odors all over the ground. If you can tell the dog, I want you to ignore every other odor and follow this odor, he's going to follow it. So a best description of scent discrimination is how many people know, with a show of hands, what chicken noodle soup smells like? Okay? Does anybody know what's in chicken noodle soup? Chicken, right? What else? What else is in chicken noodle soup?
What else?
Noodles.
I didn't hear, what is that?
Noodles.
Noodles. Well, everybody probably has their own recipe for chicken noodle soup, right? If you look at this area right here filled with all of these different people as a big pot of soup, everybody is a different ingredient. One of you is a carrot, one of you might be an onion, and there may be a piece of chicken in here. If I can take something that belongs to you as a carrot or a chicken or an onion and give it to the dog, he'll ignore all the other odors in the room. When I walk into a house and I smell chicken noodle soup, I know it's chicken noodle soup. I think most of us probably know it, right? When Wildman here, you see a slip, I said Boone, because I had Boone for 10, 11 years working with him. When Wildman walks into a room and he smells chicken noodle soup, he can actually pick out each individual ingredient odor and follow that. That's what makes bloodhounds unique in their tracking ability. Now that's not to say that bloodhounds can only do tracking, because I've seen varying ranges of dogs do the same kind of work. German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, they can all track, and most dogs can probably track as long as they have the desire to do it. Bloodhounds have an ability to do it instinctively. That's what they were bred to do. That's what they want to do, is follow human odor or animal odor. Wildman here was a rescue dog. He was in Pennsylvania, and he was found in a kill shelter. Somebody had him, let him go. He was found running wild in cornfields out in Reading, Pennsylvania. We don't know the circumstances to why he was there or how he got there, but the National Police Bloodhound Association found him. They took possession of him, did some testing on him, and realized that he would probably do some good police work. At that point, my agency was looking for a new dog to replace Boone, who was retiring, and we got possession of him. We went through the training, and now he is He's got about 35 calls under his belt, which isn't a lot. You know, Boone, by the time he retired, he was close to 400, 450 calls. Wildman did, about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, had his first criminal apprehension. It was a burglary suspect who ran from the Greenbrook police. And Wildman here was able to track him through some woods and found the suspect hiding in a tree, which is very good because you don't train for people, you know, too much hiding up in trees, but that's something we're going to work on now because your odor is going to be sitting, dropping from above, and the dog is used to smelling on the ground, and then he's casting up. It gives you a signal that, hey, there may be something up, you better look up because your person you're looking for may be above you. And that's pretty much what happened with Wildman in his last call. Now, missing people, thankfully, most of the time, missing people are found before I even get to a scene. A lot of kids that go missing are found. Adults, they're really found quickly. I'll tell you a real quick funny story that I had with Boone a few years ago. We went out to South Brunswick looking for a missing 4-year-old child. Now that individual was missing for about an hour before I got to the scene. Now, usually 10 or 15 minutes into my call-outs, I know if someone's really missing, if I'm not canceled, because you're usually found quickly. So I'm 15, 20 minutes, 40 minutes into this call. As I get close to the scene, I see a helicopter flying above the development where this child was missing. Get to the scene. Turns out, Mom went to take a shower at 9 o'clock in the morning, came out of the shower, and her 4-year-old son was gone. Front door was open. He didn't have any shoes on his feet. His sneakers were still in the house. So everyone's scouring the neighborhood looking for this child. I searched the house to make sure he wasn't in there. Just as I'm about to start with my partner Boone looking for the person, a woman who lives in the neighborhood comes running up and asks, "What's going on?" The detective tells her we're looking for this woman's son. All right, he's 4 years old, he's about 3 feet tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, no shoes. She says to the detective, "He's at my house." So everybody's excited and happy. The kid is alive, he's found, he's somewhere. They rush to the house to find him. He's in the backyard of the house. Now mind you, there's a helicopter in the air looking around for this kid. Blonde hair, blue eyes, no shoes. They find him in the backyard of the house dressed as Darth Vader. He's got the full helmet on, he's dressed in all black, lightsaber going in the backyard. Now, the crazy thing about the story, Mom had a play date set up with the woman for later that day at noon. The kid showed up at 9 in the morning with no shoes on her feet, and that Mom didn't think anything was wrong with it. That's a happy find. Now, they're not always happy finds when we're looking for people. There's a lot of bad people in the world, and sometimes if I don't have something to look for a person with, I'll have to create an article of a starting point, which I'll do in a vehicle if someone runs to the police. I take sterile gauze and I put it on the seat of the car and let it absorb the odor of the human because it's cotton and cotton absorbs odor. I'll then put that in a bag and I'll use that for a starting article. Now, an example of when I did that with Boone back in 2009 was a missing person who left his vehicle in a park. I went to the vehicle and I created a starting article. Boone tracked for 2 miles through the woods and ended at a water's edge by Fuddruckers in New Brunswick. There's a lake back there. And on the side of the lake was the hat, socks, and a t-shirt that belonged to the person that was missing. So scuba divers were called because the person wasn't found swimming in the water. They thought the person drowned. Turned out they found him 2 days later at a hospital where he went as a John Doe because he was disoriented and they took him there. But that's another happy find. But that's just an indication of how long the dogs will work. This was on the hottest day in the summer, July of 2009. And Boone worked for 2 miles, walking through a park, ignoring all kinds of people until he found our end, which happened to be at the water. So that's an example of some happy stories, but they're not always happy stories in our line of work, unfortunately. And when Boone retired, he was about 13 years old. He lived with my family and my pet. Wildman now also, he's taken up that role, living with my family. He actually stays outside, but he comes home and my family does have some interaction with him. Not a lot because we try and keep his life to be a little boring, so when he goes to work, he's really working hard for his rewards. Like I said, his reward is food. That's what he works for. When Boone was working, it was very difficult to train. He didn't have an article or item that he liked a lot until we found cheddar cheese. I used to have to carry a cooler with ice with block chunks of cheddar cheese on it because I never know when someone's going to go missing or run from the police. I always had to have the cooler with me. So I'm thankful that this guy here works for these little pieces of food because it's a lot easier to carry around than blocks of cheddar cheese. So, you take any questions now, or you do it at the end?
Questions at the end.
Questions at the end? Okay. Is Officer Powell ready?
Ready, we'll get on to it.
Okay. I thank you all for your attention. I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy your time.